Hello, my name is Blossoms and welcome to another Genshin Impact video, and today I'm going to be showing off my C0 Ninguang build. Now I've been playing Ninguang for a bit and I have been wanting to actually build her out for a while, and I've built this build more for a kind of like burst support kind of Ninguang, one that just deals a lot of damage and then swaps back off kind of deal, really focusing on her elemental burst more so than anything else. But before we go ahead and hop into the build, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It helps support the channel and I really appreciate it. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and show off my C0 Ninguang build. First and foremost, it is important to note my talent levels. I have a level 5 on the normal attack, level 4 on the Jade Screen, and level 6 on the Star Shatter. These are very reasonable talent levels. I would like to get the normal attack up more. The kind of priority for her talents is definitely Elemental Burst, then Normal Attack, and then Jade Screen, as that's probably going to be giving you the best output. However, I will say they are all very important. The Normal Attack here, definitely don't sleep on, as it increases your Star Jade damage, and that is very important for how she works, as with Ninguang, you're going to be doing a lot of normal attacks and then your charge attack, and that's going to be outputting a bunch of damage alongside your Jade Screen, which also deals really good damage. And then once you get your Star Shatter here, you're going to be popping that off as soon as you can. You're going to be using all three of these as much as you can, so it's important to get all of them leveled. However, the priority is definitely Elemental Burst, Normal Attack, and Jade Screen. Some might even put the Normal Attack above the Elemental Burst, and that's really going to be up to you. Other talents worth mentioning is definitely the Strategic Reserve one. Here, when you pass through the Jade Screen, that character will gain a 12% geo damage bonus. This goes for other characters as well, so like if you have an Albedo, which is somebody I've been pairing with her, and someday will be pairing with her in the future when the Geo Resonance change goes live, they will also gain that geo damage bonus, and it will snapshot onto his ability, which is very important to know. And then another important talent here is just when she's in possession of Star Jades. So you hit somebody with a normal attack, she gains a Star Jade, she can gain up to 3 at C0, and then her charge attack won't consume stamina. That's really important to keep in mind, as it really does help your stamina consumption and allowing you to dodge more. Now, as I said, I do have her at C0, and her Constellations are pretty powerful. Her C1 here is extremely powerful, as well as her C2, but other than that, the only important one is probably her C6, where when you use her Elemental Burst, you gain 7 Star Jades, which is actually absolutely insane, as that's just going to increase your damage output. But I have a C0, so I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm building for a C0, which is probably going to be very similar to a C6 build anyway. If anything, you would do a C0 build different from mine. Alright, past the boring stuff, we're actually getting to the artifacts here, and you'll notice I'm going for the 2-piece Archaic Petra and the 2-piece Noblesse Oblige. Now, if you have C0, I would honestly kind of recommend going a 4-piece Archaic Petra, as she is very good at proccing the 4-piece Archaic Petra set bonus. Since her normal attacks are all Geo, she creates Crystallize very often, and it's a lot easier to set up than maybe other Geo characters. So that's something worth mentioning. However, I'm preparing for the future, especially for the Geo Resonance change, and she's going to be a DPS, and I'm going to have Albedo on the 4-piece Archaic Petra whenever I can do that in the future. So this is something that you might want to keep in mind, and this is definitely how I would build her if I had her at C6 as well. And the kind of stats you want to look for are definitely something like crit rate and crit damage. Those are going to be huge. Energy recharge is also going to benefit you a lot. Attack percent is obviously going to benefit you a lot as well. It's very much so the usual stuff here. Attack percent on the Sands, geo damage bonus on the Goblet, and crit damage on the helmet here. And you might be wondering where my crit rate is coming from. We'll go into that in just a second. But the geo damage bonus is definitely going to be one of the most important aspects. And of course, attack percent is just going to be increasing your attack that much more, allowing you to deal more damage. And we'll do a brief run through of each artifact for those of you who want to check them out. My flower definitely needs work here. Defense percent definitely isn't that good, but I did get the crit damage and attack percent and energy recharge, so I'm still keeping it around. And obviously, Plume's really good here. The crit rate on here is really valuable, as well as the energy recharge, allowing me to get my ult as fast as humanly possible is really strong. And I just have a lot of attack percent on this crit damage helm, and it's a noblesse piece, and that's pretty much why I'm using this one. And then as for alternatives, if you don't like any of the things that I mentioned before, you could go 4-piece Noblesse, then increase, the rest of your party members' attack by 20%. That's also very strong. And then you wouldn't have to do something like the 4-piece Archaic Petra. That could go very far. However, I really think you need at the very least this 2-piece Archaic Petra bonus. That additional 15% geo damage bonus is just way too valuable on her. It just allows her to deal so much more damage. And as for the weapon here, I went for the Solar Pearl, and that's where I'm getting pretty much all of my crit rate. It definitely alleviates the need for a lot of crit rate substats, and I really appreciate that about the Battle Pass weapons. Yes, this is a Battle Pass weapon, so if you don't have it, you're probably going to be suffering. This is really strong on her, though. One of the best options for her, in my opinion, especially since it goes with her outfit. That's a really big bonus. But on normal attacks, it increases your elemental burst damage by 20%. Likewise, elemental skill or burst hits increase normal attack damage by 20%. And that's really strong on her, especially since you're going to be doing the pattern of 3 normal attacks and a charge attack there. That's just going to be increasing your damage output for your burst and your skills. And that is extremely valuable on her. The only thing I do want to note here is that it doesn't increase your charge attack damage, which does kind of suck, but it's still valuable enough to where I think it doesn't really matter that much. As for alternatives for the weapons here, I personally don't really have any good alternatives for a catalyst. This is my best option. The Eye of Perception here is a really good option as well. That's going to increase your attack percent and obviously your damage overall. And if you have really good crit rate and crit damage without the Solar Pearl, then maybe this is going to be the one for you. However, I still kind of value the Solar Pearl more, especially since it goes with her outfit. It's the important part, right? Yeah, I think the Solar Pearl is still overall a little bit better, especially if you want her burst to be doing a ton of damage. Other really good options for her, something like the Widsith or pretty much any 5-star catalyst is really going to be good on her. As for 4 stars though, I think Solar Pearl, Widsith, and maybe Eye of Perception are probably going to be your best bets. Things with crit rate or crit damage are probably going to be the bomb. Even the Black Cliff catalyst is probably really good on her as well. Really, you're going to want to augment your artifact stats more than anything. As for stats here, you'll notice I have her at the optimal level of 69. This is the most reasonable level to get characters, get them to that Ascension 4 so you have all their passive talents, and they still do well against even like level 90 enemies, so this is kind of where I keep people. But as for the details here, you'll notice my attack isn't really too huge. That'll come as I level up her and her attack percent artifacts. That's where all that's really going to come from. I'll probably end up around 1600 once I actually level her up and her attack percent artifact. But for now, this is definitely where we're going to be rocking. And as for the other stats here, you notice I have 44% crit rate and 156% crit damage. Obviously, more of both of these is going to be highly beneficial to your build. I definitely want to get crit rate up more in my case, as that is going to increase the consistency of how much damage I do, but for now, that is definitely what I'm going to have to rock with. And then I have a little bit of energy recharge here at 118%. I would like to get that up more as well. Definitely not necessary, as her elemental burst is only 40 cost and it has a low cooldown, so you don't really need that much energy recharge, but a little bit definitely goes a long way on this character. And then as for my geo damage bonus, I only have 67.7%. That will go up with time as I finish leveling up her goblet, and her passive is definitely going to level that up as well. That is her hidden ascension passive as well. And I also just passively have a little bit of elemental mastery on here. Doesn't matter that much, however, you will note that it increases the damage absorption power of shields created through Crystallize a little bit, and that is important to know at least a little bit, as that's just going to protect your team a little bit more, but definitely not something you want to focus on for this build. Alright, enough of the talking. We're going to go ahead and bully the Pyro Regisvine here, as usual for your typical character showcase. We'll also go ahead and show it off on another boss and just some, normal mobs, just so you guys get a feeling of how she operates and how good she can be at this stage in her leveling. Alright, now of course, I got the squad here of Xing Shou and Bennett. That's going to help us out a lot in this. Get that down. We'll even pop Albedo's thing here. Go with the Q. Pass through here for the geo damage bonus. And I don't even think I casted that in Bennett's ult there. So that was definitely a mess up. But you notice the damage there was pretty darn solid. And you can imagine how that really starts to stack up. And you see we pretty much already have our burst back here. Pretty intense. And you'll notice the damage here is still pretty darn strong without a Bennett ult or anything. It's a very good chunk, and you can imagine as you actually level up her artifacts and herself, you're going to be doing significantly more damage. I decided to go ahead and try and show her off against a Ruin Guard here, get my daily done, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone, right? Let's first try and build up her ult. See if we can get some extra damage here with Albedo. Definitely gonna need to build up her gate here. Get that charge attack damage in. And then we'll wait for the gate. We'll place it down, go through, Bennett ult, and Q. He might be a little too low health. He's definitely gonna die from that. But you'll notice the damage there was pretty darn strong. Maybe I shouldn't have built up my ult on him to showcase just how much damage it could actually do. We'll go ahead and snap to another one and show you guys what it actually looks like. All right, we'll go ahead and show it off against a Ruin Guard here so you guys have an idea of what it's like in the open world on these little mini bosses. Go ahead and get my Bennett ult real quick. And we'll go ahead and cast that down, drop the Ninguang gate, pass through it, come back, do the Q, and you guys have an idea of how much damage that'll actually do. Not bad, certainly not bad at all. You get a little bit more crit rate, a little bit more crit damage, obviously going to be doing much more. You see that her damage here is just really starting to pile on him. And as I said, the way I kind of want to use her is more going to be like a burst damage support. You can imagine just getting that nice chunk of damage in every now and then, especially with that gate doing big damage. And this ult doing big damage is going to be really nice. Passively getting her elemental burst and stuff is just going to be adding a lot of damage to your team, where you could do something with like Bennett or like Xing Shou or whatever. Maybe have a different main DPS and then you just swap to her, do her burst. It's going to be adding a lot of quick damage that you're just going to be able to pop out, do, and then, you know, go ahead and swap back to your main DPS. And I think that's really one of the huge value points in Ninguang. And there's plenty of videos of her just absolutely obliterating bosses once you get that really high geo damage bonus, crit rate and crit damage. And you can find those for yourselves and you can kind of see that she can become an absolute nuke. And when you add that into a team as just like a hot swap for like a Q and like an E real quick, then you're going to be doing tons of damage. It's just going to be adding to your team a lot. So yeah, my overall thoughts on Ninguang is that she's actually really strong. She does a lot of base damage. And I think once I actually get her talents past that level 6 mark and I start putting them in the level 7 or 8 range, she's going to do absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. And then once I also get her artifacts to plus 20 instead of plus 16, I imagine she'll be absolutely murking a lot of opponents in this game. She's really strong and I really enjoy her. Her Geo element is neutral, so she's always useful. And once the Geo Resonance bonus gets changed, her and Albedo are going to be one of the best compositions in the game, and I highly recommend them together if you have them. Her and Zhongli are also going to be really strong together when that comes out. So, you know, just pick and choose your poison, as she's going to be good either way. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and comment below your thoughts on Ninguang, and also let me know if you'd like to see an update on this build in the future when I actually ascend her and level up her talents a bit more, because I do plan to do that, as I really enjoy her as a quick swap that's just going to nuke, you know, the enemy really hard, and I find that really enjoyable. So if you guys want to see that in the future, go ahead and let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's going to be it. My name's Blossoms, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.